What's up, world? I go by the name of Jabari, back with another edition of Words with Friends. We've been gone for way too long. Sorry about that. I've been out the country for a little while, and then just busy, man, working on a lot of stuff. Got a project with Bevel out right now that you guys can go check out at bevelcode.com and 1,000 other things, but I'll tell you about that later. Today, I have a really special guest, guy that I've been following for quite some time and had the pleasure to meet when I was in D.C. A few months ago. I'll let him introduce himself. He is a sneaker customizer, artist in general, just a really dope dude, really creative dude. Jake, introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jake Ferrato. On the internet knows me as JBF Customs. Most people know me for putting Python on Jordans and amongst other things.
I love how you say the internet knows me as, man. There's what the internet knows you as, and then there's like what you really are. What do you think?
Yeah. There's real life me, and then there's the internet version. And
what's the difference between real life you and the internet version?
Not much really. I work all day, and then you see the work on the internet. So the internet's just like the clean version.
Yeah, that's the version that has been edited.
See the final products there. You just don't get to see any of the work.
Exactly, man. So Jake, man, I'm gonna start off with, I am a part sneakerhead. I'm not like one of those full blown sneaker guys. I think we talked about this when we met. But I'm there's people call it hype beast, right? So there's like somebody who is a hype beast who's like really into sneakers, waiting in line for sneakers, knowing everything about when they drop, has like a sneaker collection of how many pairs, and it's just like crazy into this stuff. Were you that kind of guy, and is that how you got into what you did, or do you just like casually sort of like footwear?
No, I was more casual. Like I always like shoes, and I somewhat know what's going on with them. Compared to those kids that you just are talking about, I don't know anything. But
yeah.
I always knew like what was going on for the most part. But I'll never wait in line for a pair of shoes. I don't pay resellers prices.
Yeah.
I only have like 20 pairs maybe, and it's mostly like gifts or things that I've made for myself. So it's I'm not much of a consumer.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. And nothing against sneakerheads or I was talking to
I love sneakerheads, man. They're the fucking best.
Yeah, of course. I mean they keep your lights on, right? So it's like
exactly.
There's nothing against that. Any type of connoisseur or collector of anything, I have a lot of respect for them because they know a lot about a certain thing or topic. But it's just interesting for I bet a lot of people that look at your stuff and look at what you do probably think that you are some sort of like sneakerhead master,
Oh yeah, for sure. But you gotta think about like if you spend 12 hours a day or whatever making shoes, like when you're done, you don't necessarily want to go and look at shoes on the blogs anymore. You want to do something that's like has nothing to do with shoes.
Yeah. So
I think that's kind of the reason why a lot of the people who create within the industry aren't necessarily the biggest collectors.
Got it. Walk me through, man, how you even got started in all of this, because I want people to get a gist of exactly what it is that you do. So let's start from the beginning, man, and how you started customizing sneakers.
All right. Well, it all started back in high school when I was like 16, so junior year I think that is. And I started painting shoes, and I don't know if you were paying attention back at this time. It was like 2008. It was like Methamphibian, SBTG, Mosh, those kinds of guys. They were all doing like these amazing paintings on their SBs and whatnot. And, I wore a size 14, so none of those SBs that were like cool at the time ever dropped in my size.
Yeah.
So the customizing came about really just like out of necessity. Like I just wanted some cool shoes, that nobody else had. So I made them. And I'm not very good at painting. If you go back and look at those first pairs, they're pretty awful. And it just kind of grew for, I just wanted to get better and better. And I just taught myself how to do the fabric stuff.
And okay, so when you're painting these shoes, were you putting these online, or were you showing people
Yeah,
your creations?
I would post them. You know, they'd always be for me, but I would post them anyway because at the time, the custom community was kind of like, people were actually helpful. So you would post something and you could get like tips and whatnot back.
Yeah.
No, it was cool. So I would do it that way, and I got enough positive feedback to like stick with it.
Yep.
And then, you know, started to just push the envelope.
I had my first foray. Man, I mean, I remember looking on forums on Nike Talk and finding out what kind of paint to use. And what was the paint called?
Angelus,
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're finally selling straight to the customer. They finally got AngelusDirect.com up, and they're actually, you don't have to get. You remember turtle feathers?
Yeah.
Angelus actually sells direct now. It's so much easier.
Oh, nice. Yeah, man. I mean, I think the first thing I did, I painted a pair of New Balance 574s or something, and I like made the end gray or something like that, and it was busted. But you know, I was like, nobody has these.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, so then, you know, you're in high school, you're making these shoes, and you're painting them, and then you said you learned how to get into the fabric stuff. So explain to me what exactly is that, the fabric stuff, like, you know.
The fabric stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's not detailed enough for you. So what it started as was, I saw guys like, who was at the time, like Emmanuel Labor. There was Jester, who I think goes by Red Ribbon Recon now. And those are really the two that like I paid attention to. And it started with just like taking denim and shit. You know how denim was like super popular for a minute back then on shoes.
Yeah, on shoes for sure.
What was it? The Metacom Dunks, I think.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and make the sneakerheads think I know what I'm talking about. So like the Metacom Dunks or whatever were super popular. People putting denim on all their shoes. What they were doing is they would just like cut templates and then stitch them while it was flat, and then glue these stitched pieces to the shoe. So I did that for like a little bit, but
so this was also like the Gucci on sneakers era.
Exactly that same.
Yeah, the Louis Vuitton print on sneakers. Yeah,
like cut up an old Louis Vuitton bag or some shit and stitch, stitch it on the swooshes.
I think we have like Nelly and Cameron, people like that, to blame for that era.
Yeah, you know that bad with like the matching jackets too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were doing that, and you know, but you would stitch the pieces and then glue them to the shoe. And obviously, like, you can only do so good. Like, it's just a stupid way to do things. So,
why is that? Because it would just fall off?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not truly wearable. You know, that's a temporary kind of job. It's gonna start peeling at the edges and just look sloppy. So, I think I don't even want to say anybody's name because I don't know who did it first, but somebody like finally started to take apart shoes and like rebuild them. And you know, after I saw that, it was, you know, that's been the craft I've been perfecting ever since. Yeah. This is probably 2009.
Okay. So now, you're taking apart shoes, and when you say taking them apart, I mean, I had the pleasure of seeing this in your studio, but explain to people what you exactly mean by, you know, so you get a pair of shoes, and how do you deconstruct it and then put it back together?
So first, I take the soles off. And then you take anywhere there's a stitch, like you break every single stitch and take, you know, every piece of the shoe apart. You know, you use those old pieces as your templates, and then cut your new pieces with those templates, stitch it all back together, and reattach the soles.
So pretty much you're making a brand new shoe.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, I guess the only difference is, whereas like Nike, they're creating these templates essentially for the body of the shoe in the computer, and from a sketch to a computer, then, you know, to the actual physical product. But you already have the template because they've created it, and, you know, you're just recreating it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like it's just like a remix. It's like everything is a remix, right?
Yeah, it's like taking your car in to get the seats done in, you know, alligator or something, as opposed to whatever cloth you have on them now.
Yeah. Okay, so at this time when you started it, it's still for you just like is it a business model that you're trying to create, or is it like just, I'm still doing this for me?
Well, I mean, I just got lucky and it turned into a business model. It's always been just like me making things I like and putting them out there. Obviously the snakeskin thing has gotten like a little out of control. Like I did, obviously I think it looks cool, but does it look cool like 150 times?
Yeah.
But there's like, when you think about it, it took me a year to do 150 pairs. Like you think about how many people there are in the world, like that's nothing. So, I could probably do snakeskin Jordans forever and never satisfy demand. I'm not going to, but I probably.
I just saw Nike actually just put out like a Python release of something. And it reminded me of you. And I mean, they do that from time to time, but like, how long has this snake, because that's your most popular sort of thing, right? The snakeskin.
Oh, yeah. Just exotic leather in general.
Okay. And how long has this been, I guess, a fad, or how long has the demand lasted for this?
Well, I did the first pair for John Geiger. It was those all black Python Jordan 4s. And we put those out on January 1st of 2013. So since then. Okay.
And do you think do you think it's going anywhere? Do you think do you think if Nike starts to make these sort of designs and they're putting out stuff, does the demand for people wanting a JBF custom go down? How does that work?
I don't think so, because Nike can never do what I do. Like you can, the best Nike can do is a really good fake Python, but they will never give you the real deal again just because they have deals with PETA and they just have all that other shit to worry about. And at the end of the day, I don't know if they can really sell that many Python Jordans. Nike's a huge corporation. They're trying to sell hundreds of thousands, whereas I sell 5 of a design. So I don't know how scalable it is, if it's even practical for them to do it. But no, I don't think, you see the Python on ID and that doesn't affect me at all. It's for a different market.
Now, what would you describe your market as? Is it, people that want limited stuff? It's people that are, just describe your average customer.
It's just people who really appreciate details and quality shoes. It's the person that would rather have one really nice pair than 10 pairs of, fake leather, whatever the fuck Jordan uses these days. Just off the shelf trash. Yeah. Not to knock them or anything, but
yeah. Have you ever had any pushback or any type of rifts with some of these companies? I mean, I know Nike is you're mainly customizing Jordans and Nikes, but any other companies, have they been like, hey, stop doing this?
No, not at all. I've only heard supportive things from those companies in general. Yeah. I mean, it's it's like customizing a car. So they can't really tell me to stop because I buy shoes, or someone else buys the shoes. I don't, technically I don't sell shoes. I just sell work. I sell a service. Got it. You got to buy your Jordans and send them to me. So it's Jordan, at the end of the day, they should be happy because people are buying 2 pairs instead of 1 because they want one to keep normal and one to send to me to have customized.
Yeah. How many other people, tell me how big this market is. How many other people are there that are doing what you do?
Well, I mean, nobody does what I do.
Well, of course. A
few people try to do it. There's probably at least I'd say there's 2 or 3 guys that try to do it and try to do it pretty well. There's and then there's 2 different guys that try to do it but do it pretty much, they actually do it just as well as me, so for sure won't say their names. But yeah, there's maybe 10 of us in the world that I know of.
And how does this community, I guess, get bigger? Do you want it to get bigger? Do you feel like those guys are competition, or is there a sense of community within you guys?
It's kind of neither right now, because it used to be community for sure, and then I think people kind of got afraid it was going to be competition. But ultimately, I think we all kind of build the market. The more customizers there are, the more people that are going to hear about it. A lot of people wouldn't even they wouldn't consider getting a custom shoe. Yeah. So the more people that start customizing, the more widespread it gets, the more common it gets. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even really think about that often. I don't, like I said, it's always been for me just because I like shoes and I like to craft things. Yeah. So I'm doing it regardless. So I don't think I'll ever have a problem with other people doing it.
who are some of the people that that people would know that have worn your stuff?
Wale wore a pair at a Summer Jam a year or two ago. Wiz Khalifa just performed in a pair over the summer. I know AJ Green has a pair. Yeezys he's worn a few times. Wilson Chandler's got a couple of pairs. He's a good guy. That's like enough famous people, right?
Yeah. That's good. I mean, so I guess what's your goals now? Like, how do you either A, get more clientele, or is it like, for instance, in terms of your type of work, right? Because it's you and it's handcrafting and you're doing this by yourself. How do you scale it? Like, how do you need to now get an assistant? Do you need to get like other people that can do it? Do you need to teach somebody? How does that work?
I could do all that, but I don't think I really want to. I would rather just like keep making everything myself and just really, push it as art, because it is. There's handcrafted shoes are such a rarity anymore. And I would, instead of dilute that, I would rather keep doing everything myself and just raise the prices.
Yeah. So
just like art, like this is, for something for the few and far between to have and really appreciate.
Yeah. How do you see, it's like it's so interesting, man, because, on the one hand, we were sort of describing it as, like a mechanic, right? Or not a mechanic, but like a detailer, right? And so, and again, that's like a form of art. This is a form of art. But how do you balance the sort of like the artistic nature of what you're doing with the, need to sell the art? How do you balance the two, the artist and the entrepreneur titles that you have?
Well, I guess to me, like the ultimate art is selling things. Like what's more artistic than making something like straight out of your imagination, creating it, and then getting a bunch of other people to want it. I have a lot of fun just like with that. So to me, like the entrepreneurship is also like an art form.
Okay.
So that helps me balance it. And also just I personally don't care about things being limited. It's just if I like it or not. So I don't have a problem making a shoe like 5 times. After that, I get bored. Like 5 is kind of like my limit.
Yeah.
But, like limitedness has never been a super important thing for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think, man, what you said is something that resonates with me as well. I think because same way, man. I'm an artist as well as an entrepreneur, and I think that I find a lot of fun in the art of entrepreneurship. When you can figure out ways to make money from the things that you love to do. I mean, yeah.
Exactly. Like after you cash, like there's not really a whole lot of better feelings than like cashing a check for something that you're 100% responsible for, top to bottom. Like this is your creation, and if you can sell that, like that's an incredible feeling.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's like it also puts you on your toes because you always have to be coming up with that next thing, and it's completely different than having somebody tell you what to do and following orders. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, of course, but like it's just a different thing when you earn money in a way where you're following a rule. You know what I mean? Like you're doing something that is told to you rather than coming up with the idea first. It's quite frankly a bit more scary, but maybe a little more rewarding to me, I guess. But definitely, it's some things are for some people and other things are for others. So explain to me a little bit about the marketing process and how you get your art out there. From social networking, from sites, like how does that exactly work? Even from like Heather and the pictures you take,
Yeah, so I mean, currently the way that all happens is I do the work, make the shoes, call Heather, she takes pictures, edits them all pretty, sends them back to me, and I post them on the internet. And that's like the extent of the marketing scheme. Like I've always just kind of done the work, posted it, and then hope that the blogs like it and that they post it, and hope that people like you start paying attention, and it all just kind of grows organically.
Yeah.
I don't like to push anything too hard. I like to let people find it on their own.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like there's got to be some type of special sauce, man. And I just pulled up your Instagram, and you have 121,000 followers on here, man. So, there's got to be some sort of strategy in building an audience that big.
Yeah, I mean, I just got lucky, I guess. It's just kind of like, yeah, I really don't know. I don't even know what to tell you there. Like, I really just got lucky. It's really just, I've just been doing it for so long that, the bloggers with the millions of followers, I'm kind of cool with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just send them work, and when they like it, they'll post it, and I get more followers.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, okay, so it's not as hard as, but I mean, I think all of this lies in, though, man. It doesn't lie in schemes and marketing strategies and all of this. Like, the first thing is the quality, man. Like, one thing you can tell when you go here, you can just, I mean, you don't even have to look deep. You just see, oh, wow, like, this is high quality art. You know what I mean? This is stuff that I can see you've taken a lot of time. I can see that there's a lot of care in the garments. Like, I think that is the reason why you've been able to build this thing.
Yeah, that, and I think just like being honest. There's a lot of people will tell you, customizers and whatnot, that send them the shoes, send them the money. Everyone requires payment up front these days, but then they'll be like, yeah, I'll have them back to you in 2 weeks, and then a month and a half later, like, you still don't have your shoes back, and blah blah blah. And I've always just been very the wait time and everything, like, you get exactly what you pay for.
Yeah.
And there's not really, I always hit my deadlines. If I tell you it'll be done by a certain time, it will be done by that time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just, I think just like being, just being honest like that and following through on what you say you're going to do goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think the cool thing about, like, for instance, different industries nowadays, man, we're seeing with the internet and with, social media and all this stuff, we're just seeing disruption in a whole bunch of markets. I mean, my industry, the film industry, is completely being disrupted right now with the internet, from YouTube to, I mean, there's like so many ways you can directly sell your films to your fans, all this stuff. How has the internet disrupted the shoe market?
I mean, I would say we're the ones disrupting it, It's like a miniature Nike ID with all these customizers. So that would be the disruption, I guess. And also just like resellers. We now have people going to Foot Locker, Finish Line, wherever, and buying the entire size run of the Jordans that come out on Saturday and going straight to eBay with them.
Yeah.
This is like an occupation now. People literally do this for a living. They go, they buy and resell shoes, and that's it. They're like, it's like their own currency. Yeah. And that's really been created by the internet, and it's like Instagram and all that.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, it's the same as like an iPhone, like people do that. I mean, well, they have sort of limits on, how many you can buy and stuff like that. But if you can get your hands on a bunch of them, yeah, there's opportunity to make some money.
The internet's just been like what really cultivates and maintains this hype. It's this whole different excitement, and it's just because people see other people with them on Instagram, and it's that like keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. Like, oh, my favorite influencer has got seated these, so I'm definitely gonna need 2 pairs when they come out and all that kind of shit.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole seeding and influencers and that type of marketing? I have my own thoughts on it, but I'd like to hear yours.
I mean, I'm trying to get on all those lists for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeding lists. You should definitely add me to it.
Yeah.
But I don't really seed anything. So, I think it makes sense though, just because why not send a product to an individual with 100,000 followers that really like them personally? Those influencers' followers, they look at them as like a friend. So it's like a friend's recommendation, as opposed to like, a TV advertisement. It's something that people are choosing to look at instead of being like forced to watch before the YouTube video.
Yep. Yeah, I think what you said though is very important. It's like that person has to actually like it. You know what I mean? I think you have so many people that are trying to do influencer marketing, but they're doing it in ways where
you gotta be organic with it.
Yeah.
Because people can tell, like, it's so blatantly obvious when it's, someone just paid you to post that.
Yeah.
You see that water bottle company doing it. It's like all the fitness shit. That's where you really see it.
Yeah.
It's just like blatant advertising. It's not like you genuinely enjoy this product.
Yeah, man. The new age of marketing, man, is like it's being shaped by a lot of this influencer stuff and like, personal endorsements and stuff like that. But I think it hasn't worked itself out yet.
Nah, we'll see it slow down soon once these companies realize that like 90% of influencers have no influence.
Yeah.
They just like paid for the followers, or it's just it's just stupid shit.
Yeah.
There are some influencers though who are like legitimately very influential.
Yeah.
And people really do follow them, and they do move units.
And and sometimes that doesn't even equate to like number of followers all the time,
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. You'll see people with like 10,000 that still like they really engage people.
Yep. What do you think about some of these sneaker companies, man? I mean, there's a lot of just new people popping up, man. Like there's greats. You and I were talking about filling pieces, a while back. I mean, there's just so many new sneaker companies that are like kind of, bringing different stuff to the game. Who are some people that you like?
The two you just said, really greats, filling pieces. Lucky enough to be cool with both of them. I think they do really good work.
Buscemi is actually one of the guys behind Greats, right?
Yeah, it's Buscemi and Ryan. I'm afraid to say his last name, but Benzian. I know I pronounced that wrong.
Okay.
But it's them together.
It's so interesting, man. I was talking to my buddy about Greats, and I was just like, it's crazy that Buscemi has one company where he's selling shoes for like 400, 500, maybe even more than that, right? Buscemi sneakers
are like 900.
900, right? And then another company where he's selling sneakers for $50. And my friend was like, man, that's just, it's like one is for the masses and then one is for a very limited, high-end audience. And he's covering both grounds.
Yep, he's in a good place right now, I imagine.
Yeah, man. Dope. What are your goals, man? I know you said you went and you actually learned how to make sneakers. Tell me about that process.
Yeah, so I went to Oregon for like a 1-week course. This is back in September. Only like teaching I've ever like had the pleasure of receiving regarding shoes. So this is in September. Yeah, I learned how to make shoes from scratch. Like there's not a whole lot more to say beyond that.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing my own designs like from the ground up soon. It's like not customs, like you won't have to send in a base shoe. It'll be like a from scratch, like handmade sneaker.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I'm very excited to see that, man. And I got to see a little bit of the designs, guys, and it's dope. Very dope. Very what's the word? Clean. Just it's not a lot of bells and whistles.
No. It's all about clean, like very wearable, just like an elegant sneaker.
Yeah. Nice, man. Where do you want that to go? Like would you like to have a brand that's carried in stores, or is it something that you just want to sell, on your own?
I don't know. I'm not like really. I don't think about that kind of direction kind of stuff at all. Really, I just put out work and see where it goes.
Yeah.
If someone wants to give me a bunch of money as an investment so we can like mass produce a line and I can have like kind of a low end thing like Buscemi has with Greats and still do a high end thing on the side, maybe we'll do that. But it just depends. I just keep putting out work, keep posting it, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. Well, I think you've had a good attitude thus far about it, man, and things are working out. So I'm very excited to see what 2015 has up coming for you, man. Where can people find your work and follow you on social media, Jake?
It's at JBF Customs on all social media, and jbfcustoms.com is the website.
Dope, dope. All right, guys, that was JBF Customs. My man Jake, check him out, please. You won't be disappointed if you're a sneakerhead. Even if you're not a sneakerhead and you just want like some ill stuff, please go check his stuff out. And you guys know, Words with Friends, like I said, we've been gone for a minute, but we're back. I have a lot more stuff coming up for you guys. So you guys know you can go to patreon.com/Jabari and leave as little as a $1 tip if you want to keep hearing the podcast, if you want to keep it going. And yeah, man, thanks so much for doing this, Jake. Anything else you want to let the people know?
Nice. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Of course. All right. See you guys later. Peace.